Now, I really love endurance sports. I love running. I love cycling. I love swimming. Well, swimming a little bit less, but road biking is something that I discovered that I really enjoy, especially road biking uphill at full speed. That feeling of you becoming one with your bicycle is like running very, very fast. Perhaps one way to describe that or to call it is augmented running. However, there is something that I like and enjoy as much, or perhaps even more, and that is a big portion of French fries loaded with ketchup. I believe that is the best meal that you can get after a long session of sports. So the other day I was thinking, where are all these fries coming from and how are they being produced? Well, what I learned is that one of the biggest players, one of the hidden champions of the industry is actually located here in Limburg, and that is Marcellisen. Marcellisen produces all sorts of solutions that can help to transform the humble potato into a very delicious French fry. Everything automated. That is a very good solution, very competitive. However, Marcellisen recognizes that that is not enough. They need to move forward, just like the industry. So they want to move from being just a manufacturer of equipment with some after-sales services into advanced services. That is what we call servitization. So here the question arises, how can we help Marcellisen in transitioning into that advanced services solution? Follow me on this presentation. I'm going to show you what we have done. Thank you. So 2 sequential projects were executed in order to provide practical solutions. Project 1, it was about the identification and definition of suitable product services for Marcellisen. And the second project was about optimization. The optimization needed in order to provide an effective just-in-time service. So let's go to project 1. Let me show you what we have done. So basically, the product service offerings are 4 out of a large pool of options, which are the ones that we get to see here. Update and upgrade, inspection and diagnosis, repair and maintenance, full maintenance contract. Now, in order to achieve to this result, we have to do or execute 3 aspects or 3 pillars. Number 1, we needed to redefine the value proposition. 2, redefine customer profiles, and number 3 was about identification of product services by means of collective scoring system. So let me just go to the first one and let me show you briefly how we have done it. So we did a workshop together with them, and that is a business model canvas. So you see here, that is a real model we built, and these are the interim results of the workshop. So everybody, all the stakeholders were participating, and we created a new value proposition. Further on, when looking at customer segments, we also did the same. We executed a workshop, we used a methodology for that, and we reached to the conclusion that we have 3 different segments: old-fashioned farmer, next-gen farmer, and process engineer and career switcher. Now, it's not enough to identify the potential services that Marcellisen can offer, but also we need to match that with the feasibility to deploy them. So what we see here is what we call an opportunity and feasibility wall chart. So we are trying to match feasibility with the economical benefit so that we can narrow down our scope and identify really the vital few services that we want to focus on. So you see here some numbers that is in reference to this list of services. Okay, so a value proposition has been defined, and now it is time to provide a just-in-time service. So what we see here is what we call a proactive maintenance loop. That is the goal. So the goal is we provide distant service, so that is Marcellisen, doing either remote services or physical services by collecting data. So sensors are installed to their equipment. These sensors provide data where performance is being monitored, and by means of statistical process control charts, then decisions can be done as preventive. Yeah, so we're trying to prevent problems from happening. So that is a new value proposition. So that is machine uptime. We promise you that your equipment is going to be working. That is the service. So just to continue, that required to re-engineer the procurement operation. So you only see here a glimpse. That is the framework of the project. That is every stage that we follow. That these are the deliverables, research questions, tools to be used, etc. So it's really a complete project from the start to the beginning. And here's an example. So what we see here is the as is or current situation of the current procurement process. So you see a flow chart, you see the actors of every single activity and decision, and you see here that is basically a push-based system. So based on demand of parts, then Marcellisen reacts. What we want is to have something like this. So this is what we call as pull system. So we are monitoring and we detect anomalies. So in the moment we detect anomalies, we have a signal, we have an alarm, and then we can react. Yeah, that system relies, of course, in what we call an automated pre-ordering system. Yeah, so parts have been identified, life cycles have been identified, and then there is a planning on when these parts have to be ordered before they are needed, but in the moment when they're needed. So it's a just-in-time system. So once again, we cannot boil the ocean, so we are trying to focus ourselves on the most vital parts. So this is just a Pareto, an ABC analysis, where we can see that 20% of the items create 80% of the impact in revenue. So here we have the 80-20 proportion. So it's just a question to, it's just a tool to narrow down our efforts. And the interesting story here is that the same need repeats itself by other companies, such as GROBA, which is a cheese processing equipment, and Accarton, which is about packaging. So let me just briefly show you. So approach is very similar. So there was a need to redefine a value proposition. There was the creation of a minimum viable product. That is the first prototype of a service. And again, we have a value effort matrix in between. In this particular project, we follow the famous lean startup method, which is the cycle that we see here. This is how the project was framed. So what are the benefits for GROBA? Improve understanding of customer needs, definition of product service offerings, that includes feasibility analysis, and planning requirements for advanced services that rely on offering overall equipment effectiveness, OEE standards. OEE is a standard in manufacturing. It's basically uptime. So it's measuring losses in capacity. So now, instead of offering a machine, we offer a service. We promise you that your equipment is going to be functioning 80% of the time. That could be an example. So now with Accarton has a slightly different need. They need to expand their capacity, and for that they're considering in the investment of automated solutions, digitalized solutions. So they also want to move into services, into servitization as well. So in short, we can say that without digitization, there is no Servitization 2.0. So the Servitization 2.0 is about those services that are digitally enabled, as we can see here. Servitize, value proposition, digitally enabled self-service, digitally risk-reward services, digitally enabled excellence. Everything relying on these pillars that we see here. So what is the future that we see? Well, we see a lot of Internet of Things. We see additive manufacturing playing a bigger role in industry, and they all have an impact on servitization. So we're cooperating with Rotterdam University on that. And we foresee actually potential offerings such as the one we get to see here. That is an equipment maintenance with augmented reality. So that is a service. So an example could be our equipments are abroad. Maybe they are in China. We cannot send people all the time to China, but we can guide people. We can train people from distance, and we can offer the service to guide them by having them wearing these fancy glasses, and then they can get augmented information to what they see. Thanks a lot for your attention. I hope that everything is clear. Bye-bye.